Okay, now a little benchmark I'm putting together, I guess, and there's still room for improvement, but just a quick put together. I mean, I can reduce the resolution of the video texture. I can reduce how often it updates. Uh, but if you look here, I'm looking straight forward, and I'm not looking at the monkey head, and it's giving me about 1,000 to 1,200 frames per second, and rasterizer is about 40%. And if I look up at the monkey head, my frames per second go to about 500, 490, 500 and something frames per second, and my rasterizer is 65-ish%. Looks like it'll spike up to 67, up to 70 every once in a while. I'm going to move in and look at the actual monkey head. And with the monkey head loaded in, my frames per second are about 300 to 500 depending on the way it is. It's hard to tell. It's actually glitching out my numbers because they're switching so quickly. So it's about 3 to 400 to 500 bouncing. It's bouncing all over the place. My rasterizer is 71 to 74-ish%. That's a rough benchmark. I mean, I could change that up to, yeah. So as I'm moving in and out, I'm getting as I'm moving, I'm getting about 260 when the real monkey's there. So as I move back out, as I'm moving around out here, I'm getting about 5. So it's like it should get almost doubled improvement in rendering, and that's because I do believe is about half the resolution that your normal rasterizer is putting out. So, like, I don't know if you can see the monkey head, the top of it, it looks kind of blocky with the video texture. But there's that, and the rasterizer looks like it's working a lot harder because I don't have a frame rate restriction on it. So it's working very hard at doing it. If I don't look at it, just my full frames per second. I mean, in an empty scene, I get about 2,000 frames per second with nothing to render, and I'm getting probably about 1,000 to 1,300 bouncing around in there. Just looking at this scene here, so that's pretty good. There's room for improvement, just cutting down the resolution and stuff, but I'm going to explain how to put this together, and hopefully I can do it quick because I don't know how much time I have. Okay, I'm going to go to wireframe mode. Okay, now I got this camera here, right? And it's parented, or this plane here is parented to that camera. So when this camera rotates, this plane will move around, like orbiting that camera. So you're always looking at that plane, right? This plane is a video texture plane that is taking a render from the second scene here from a camera that's almost in the exact same position. And the rotation of the camera in the first scene is being copied to this camera here. So whatever you're doing with your first camera running around with the WSD keys is being copied to this plane or this camera here. So it's going to look at this identical scene with another camera, so it'll render out on a lower resolution in front of your camera. And hopefully I explained that right. So basically it's just you got two scenes that are almost identical except for except for the monitor here on this one. And you want the lighting to be the same, you want everything to be the same. Like this monkey here, I had to put that in the exact same position on the other scene so it, wouldn't have any kind of weird glitches, because if you don't have anything stuff lined up, it kind of looks funky. Like I could give you an example, but I don't know if I have time. Basically, if I was to scale this up a smidgen, and oh gosh, what am I doing? Okay, should have scaled that up a little bit. And I gotta adjust my clipping distance. That's nice. Okay, basically I have it clipped so it won't render anything, past the camera. And I have the same deal with the camera in the second scene. It won't render anything from the camera to the plane distance. So it's 102 from the camera to the plane. So in the previous scene, it basically starts at 102 and renders everything past that. But it says I adjusted the size of the plane. If you look here, you see this weird little glitch. It doesn't quite match. The grid doesn't quite match up what the plane has. So you got to have it exactly, or it's going to cause problems. I'm trying to find a way to do it without to eliminate the stupid blue that you see every once in a while pop through the floor. But beyond that, uh, I'm not having any real luck. I've tried a dozen different things, but any suggestions, I'm open. I don't think running any kind of filter would actually do anything to fix that particular issue. But I think I covered everything. Hate long videos. It's easy to do short and concise videos. Ideally, you wouldn't have, how many faces do I have on this thing? 569,000 faces, like loading, or in your main scene coming. Well, I guess you'd only want, if you had a scene, you'd have like say 2 million faces in the scene, but you'd only want so many on this side of the plane, so it wouldn't wouldn't make your computer chug. But I think that's everything.